in regards to the analysis of the Hindu newspaper or daily news analysis, which wherein this session will help you to crack prelims and mains examinations. How? Because I would be emphasizing throughout my lecture, I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases which are from the newspaper. So I would be emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases which are from the newspaper, and by emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases, I will make it very clear that how we can try to identify the factual and analytical questions for the prelims point of view. So factual and analytical questions we will identify from the keywords and the key phrases from the newspaper, which will be very useful for prelims examinations. And not only that, I will make it very clear that you also get into the mode of understanding and imbibing in the sense implementing or using the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, that is in regards to the mains examination. So definitely when you are using or imbibing the keywords and the key phrases in your answer writing, that is in the mains, your answer writing would be precise and concise. And once your answers are precise and concise in the mains, you will certainly score higher marks in the mains examination. So therefore, my session will help you in regards to prelims as well as mains, both for 2020 as well as 2021. And today's session is in regards to the daily news analysis DNA, that is today's newspaper analysis would be done, that is 11th of the Hindu. And I would reiterate once again, and I would be re-emphasizing about my tagline, that is Sandeep Bhushan tagline, that is emphasizing on the keywords and the key phrases. This will be very useful and it will help you for cracking prelims and also mains examinations. And before I get into the topic, I would say a very good morning to everyone who is in the live and also in the live chat. Very good morning to everyone. So I would say very good morning to Nandita, Ravali, and Mutyalama Kanakuri, Rahul, Madhu, Kiran Kumar Kaspa, Gayatri Rao, Ashwini Ravi Kumar, Venkat Srinivas Reddy, Lokesh Chandra, David Paul, Kiran Kumar. Everyone, very good morning to you all. And then now I'll get into the topic, that is today's session, that is daily news analysis. And today you have a news in regards to the solar power will play a big role in Atmanirbhar Bharat. Who is saying this? The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, is saying that. Bharat Kalyana has joined. Very good morning to you, Bharat. We have just started the today's daily news analysis, and the first news is in regards to the solar energy. Solar energy will play a big role. So definitely, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has gone ahead with a inauguration of the solar project. Inauguration of the solar project where Rewa. Where is that Rewa? So inauguration of the solar power project. Inauguration of the solar power project, and it was inaugurated at Rewa district. Where is Rewa? In Madhya Pradesh. This is very important for prelims examinations. So Rewa is a district in Madhya Pradesh, and there they have inaugurated, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has inaugurated the solar power project, which is of 750 megawatt. 750 megawatt of solar power project has been inaugurated in Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh, and this is Asia's largest solar power project. So this is very important for you in regards to the prelims point of view. That is what I was emphasizing that the keywords and the key phrases are very important. And this the inauguration of the 750 solar power project in Rewa, that is in Madhya Pradesh, is the Asia's largest solar power project, and it is essential and it is based on our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Again, this is very important. The keyword Atmanirbhar in the sense self-reliance. So the Prime Minister of India wanted self-reliance in what? Self-reliance in energy. This is the keyword. This is a keyword. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi is making it very clear, solar energy will play a major role in the achieving India's self-reliance in energy. Self-reliance in energy is the keyword here. And because of the self-reliance in energy, the Prime Minister of India has spoken about Atmanirbhar Bharat. So, how does Atmanirbhar Bharat implement in the solar energy? We will look at it. We will look at it definitely. How Atmanirbhar Bharat. So, what is Atmanirbhar Bharat? Yesterday we spoke about that is nothing but self-reliance. What do you mean by self-reliance? That means locally. We are producing locally, manufacturing or producing locally, manufacturing or producing locally. So, yesterday we have spoken about be vocal about local. Our Prime Minister of India emphasizing on protecting the Indian manufacturing units, Indian manufacturing units. So we will look at how Atmanirbhar Bharat will be applicable to the solar energy or solar power project, and that we will focus on it. So as of now, 750 megawatt of solar power project was inaugurated in Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh, and it is Asia's largest solar power project, and it is based on the Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is for achieving the self-reliance in solar energy, self-reliant in energy, and that is how making sure. Hello everyone. Now is the video okay? I mean, is it? Are you able to view the video now? Is it now okay? Please let me know. Lokesh, is it connected now? Please let me know. Lokesh says, please continue little fast. Okay. Yeah, it's okay. Fine, fine. Now I'll go ahead with it. Now I'll go ahead. So, yes. I'm absolutely, what do you say, sorry for the delay. There was little problem in regards to the internet. So, I'm absolutely sorry. So, what is important here is what we need to also focus is that our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also spoken about what is important. What is important that is that we need to focus also in regards to the we need to develop three areas we need to develop in regards to making sure that solar energy is actually tapped as per what is required as per Atmanirbhar Bharat. So what is that important is we need to improve solar panels. We need to improve solar panels and improve batteries. So what is important is we need to improve the solar panels, we need to improve the batteries, and we need to provide best quality. These are very important. Why I'm saying so is, you can write it in your answer. You can write it in your answer. What are the three areas our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has focused in regards to making sure that how we can improve the inauguration, that is going ahead with the entire 750 megawatt of solar power project. So first we need to go ahead with improving the solar panels, the batteries, and also the best quality storage. What is important is, it is not only just generating the solar energy, it is not only generating the solar energy, but storage is very important. Storage is very important. That is what is our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is looking at, and he has made it very clear that our country, that is India, has to focus on these three areas, and these three areas are very very important for you to understand how best we can go ahead with increasing the solar power projects in India. And then once the solar power project gets into action or gets into fully functional, so Delhi Metro will use 24% of the electricity produced, and the rest will be by the Madhya Pradesh. So almost 76% will be used by Madhya Pradesh, and the Delhi will be using the 24%. Our Prime Minister has also said that what is the importance of solar energy. So he has said solar energy is sure, solar energy is pure, solar energy is secure. So we need to understand this again for prelims as well as mains point of view. Prelims as well as mains point of view. So what is important is that the emphasis on the solar energy. So definitely you have renewable energy and non-renewable energy. That is in regards to the coal, we are concentrating on the coal, generating of the energy by the coal, and also the renewable energy in regards to the water, hydro electricity, and also in regards to the nuclear energy. So all those comes into renewable energy, and then also the solar energy. So definitely what the emphasis being made by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in regards to the solar energy, which is sure, pure and secure. This I am saying it, please do mention in your mains answer when you're writing in regards to solar energy, whenever there is a question in regards to the renewable energy. So first is sure. Why it is sure? Because it will not be exhausted. Exhausted in the sense it cannot get over. Why? Because of the sun. Until unless there is sun and then sun energy can be tapped, so it cannot be exhausted. That means it cannot get over. Yeah. Madhu says other sources may exhausted. Yes, definitely when the other sources can be exhausted, but the sun, solar energy, main the source is the sun, and the sun until unless it is there, it cannot be exhausted. That is why it is sure and it is pure. Why it is pure? Because it will not be polluting the environment. It will not be polluting the environment. And why it is secure? Because it is inspiration for the Atmanirbhar Bharat. Why it is secure? It is secure because as we are talking about local, as we are talking about local, and as we are talking about local, what is very important is that we will definitely not totally rely on China. Why I am saying China is this solar panel. What our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has spoken about solar panels, solar improved batteries, is definitely we are importing from China. Now we are importing from China, that is photovoltaic cells. That is photovoltaic cells we are importing from China. That is why it is becoming very costly. That is why it is becoming very costly, and that is very very important that we need to focus on the Atmanirbhar Bharat. We need to focus on the Atmanirbhar Bharat, that is self reliant, making sure that we are focusing on the Atmanirbhar Bharat, so that we will protect our Indian manufacturing units. So that we will protect our Indian manufacturing units, and that is what is being mentioned by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As we are importing many of the batteries and of photovoltaic cells by the China, from the China, that we have to stop. That is ending our dependence. We should not be dependent on the imports. And what the government has also decided is all the government organizations which are using the solar energy should buy, this is very important, should buy the solar cells and the modules. That is in regards to the, all these are, see, all these are the photovoltaic cells which are involved in the solar energy. All this is the solar energy, tapping the solar energy. This is what is in the Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh. So what the government has done is, all the government organizations which are buying the solar cells and modules should only buy which are in made in India, not from China. So that is what the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat, or that is what the importance of Atmanirbhar Bharat. And when we are looking at the amount of price which was in 2014 was rupees 7 to 8 per unit, but today it is just 2 rupees 15 paisa to 2 rupees 30 paisa per unit. So that is what is important, how we are focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat, how we are slowly trying to end the dependence on imports. So this is very, very important. This is very, very important. Okay, Durga Prasad has joined. Durga Prasad says it is a part of 175 gigawatt renewable energy by 2022. Absolutely, said Durga Prasad. I will also take up what is International Solar Alliance. I will also discuss about International Solar Alliance, and in that I will talk about what is the target of solar energy, what is the target of renewable energy by India up to 2022. That I will talk in regards to the Inter-Solar Alliance, because when we are talking about the solar energy of Rewa districts, it is very important that we need to, I mean, you as a civil servant aspirant, me as a faculty, I have to look at, I have to combine it, I have to, what do you say, link it with the other information, that is International Solar Alliance. And Malvika Sajivan has also joined. Very good morning. And then Durga Prasad also, very good morning to you. So definitely that is in my lecture, Durga Prasad. This is what it is. And this is the additional information which I am giving, which is not in the newspaper. But when we are talking about, or when we are discussing about, when we are talking or discussing about the inauguration of 750 megawatt of solar power project in Rewa district of Madhya Pradesh by our Prime Minister, it is very important that we need to also focus on the information, that is ISA, International Solar Alliance. And now I'll put, or I will talk about this. So International Solar Alliance was actually taken up by both the Prime Minister, that is Prime Minister of India, and then the President of France. So Prime Minister of India, that is Narendra Modi, and then the President of France, that is Francois Hollande. So this is very important for prelims point of view, which is very important, because I definitely will focus in regards to how best you will be equipped, you will be ready for the prelims, mains and interview. Not just newspaper, but additional information also I will try to provide to you. And it was actually taken up, both the International Solar Alliance was unveiled, or it was between India and France in United Nations Climate Change Conference. So you had a conference, that is United Nations. This is again very important key phrase. United Nations Climate Change Conference in Paris in the year 2015. So both the countries have come up with an International Solar Alliance on November 30, 2015. This is again important for prelims. Where they have decided in the United Nations Climate Change Conference, which has taken place in Paris on November 30, 2015. So this is important. And then the International Solar Alliance has set a target. What? 1 trillion watt. 1 trillion watt, not megawatt. 1 trillion watt of solar energy. 1 trillion watt. 1 trillion watt of solar energy by 2030. So this is very important. Again, and what the ISI is, that International Solar Alliance is almost of 121 countries which are between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. This is again very important for your better understanding what is that is very important for better understanding is that the International Solar Alliance has been taken up between both the countries, that is India and France, but at the same time it has also brought in 121 countries in the International Solar Alliance, which are between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Please do look at this map, you will understand it very important. So these are the one, Tropic of Cancer and then Tropic of Capricorn. So it is the countries which are close to or between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn will be the 121 countries, and this is very important for you in regards to the prelims point of view and a better understanding. 121 countries between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, and I'm saying this because it can be asked as geography map based questions. Geography map based questions, that the number of 121 prospective countries under the International Solar Alliance is between which among the following two, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. Fine. So this is very important for why we are talking about the countries only between Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn, because in the entire most of the year you will have the surplus of bright sunlight. So bright sunlight will fall onto the countries which are between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn across or most of the entire year. That is why we can tap the energy of the sun. We can tap the energy of the sun. And this is an additional information which I am giving you, which is very, very important for the prelims point of view. Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn. This is a keyword which you need to focus on. And then in regards to United Nation Climate Change of Conference in Paris, and then the target is 1 trillion solar energy by 2030. And I will also make it very clear that there is another, when you look at the International Solar Alliance, the first international body which has been taken up between India and France, and the secretariat will be in India, and this is again very important for prelims point of view. So International Solar Alliance Secretariat is based in where is it in, what do you say, India or any other country? It is in India. Secretariat is based in India. So that is very, very important. And what is the target? India has gone ahead, 100 megawatt. And this, Durga Prasad, I think you will also understand what is the other information. See, other information is 100 gigawatt of solar energy by 2022. And what you have mentioned is absolutely right. What you have also mentioned is absolutely right. That is 175 gigawatt of electricity from the renewable sources. So renewable sources is the keyword here. Solar energy is a keyword here. So by the solar energy, what is the target? What India is going at is 100 gigawatt. In regards to the renewable energy or renewable sources is 175 gigawatt. And this is very important for prelims, that you need to not get confused in regards to the solar energy target and then renewable energy target. So solar energy is 100 gigawatt and then renewable energy is 175 gigawatt, and this is what is very important, and it has been taken up in 2015 in the United Nations Conference of Climate Change. This is the additional information which I have given. So please do understand how you need to link. So why I am saying this is linking is very important. Please do understand, linking the news. Linking the news in the sense the news item I am talking about. It is not just you should just read the news and then forget about it. No, whatever is coming in the newspaper, whatever news is in the newspaper, you need to make sure that you are linking with the previous issues or the news item. That is what is required for the civil servant aspirant, and that is what I have shown you, that this is how you need to get into the practice also. You need to get into the practice also. So now I will make sure that I will get into the next topic, that is in regards to the other one, that is the Indian Air Force gets last 5 Apache attack helicopters from Boeing. So definitely we need to understand about Boeing and also Indian Air Force. So Indian Air Force have got India has got, or Indian Air Force has got from US. What we have got, this is in regards to the defense. So this is in regards to the fighter jets or fighter aircraft, and then in regards to the other one is heavy lift aircraft. So we will look at. So what is the fighter aircraft? Fighter aircraft is Apache. Please to understand, this is again very important for prelims point of view and better understand. What is the heavy lift aircraft? Heavy lift helicopters. Aircraft or helicopters. You can take it as helicopters itself. Just a minute. So what is important for you to understand is that we have gone ahead with the purchase of 22 Apache attack helicopters from Boeing. So total is 22 Apache attack helicopters. And then the other one is in regards to the 15 Chinook heavy lift helicopters. So this is very important. So Apache is the in regards to the attack, it is used for attacking, and then Chinook is used for lifting. It is used for heavy lifting it is used for. So we have gone ahead with 15 Chinook heavy lift helicopters, and we have gone ahead with 22 Apache, which is attack helicopters. So this is very important. You need to understand the difference between both the two, because there could be a possibility in the prelims that they might ask you that Apache is based for what? It is for attacking, and then Chinook is used for the heavy lift helicopters. And then we have purchased this Apache, and then we have, why it is in use, why we have to look at it, because it has been deployed in the Leh Air Base, in the Leh district of Ladakh. Leh district of Ladakh Union Territory. Leh district of Ladakh Union Territory. We have deployed. Deployed means in the sense we have used. We have put that. Why? Because there is a face off between India and China along the LAC. So definitely we have now deployed the Apaches, which is the attack helicopters, which is from the Boeing, that is from US. And the first batch of Apache, this is now we have gone ahead in 2020, that is 5, we have got 5 now. But the first batch have been come to India in the year 2019, and we have used, or we have based it, or we are based in the Air Force Station. Where, at which Air Force Station? That is in Pathankot, which is in Punjab. Pathankot Air Force Station base. So in 2019 we have deployed, or we have based that Air Force Station, that is in Pathankot, the Apaches, because of the Pathankot airstrike which has been done by the terrorist. So this is very important. And then if you look at the other one, that is, as I have said, 22 Apache and then 15 Chinook. So this is Apache, and you will have a better understanding why I am saying attacking helicopter is. So if you look at here, you have the missiles, and also in this, wherein it will attack the enemy, and these are the Chinook. These are the Chinook helicopters, and these are used for heavy lifting. That means wherever there is any kind of warlike situation or disaster which takes place, disaster, that is in regards to the floods, flooding, fine. So at that situation, in that situation, it will go and lift the heavy. That is why it is called as heavy lift helicopters. So wherein you do not have any kind of, what you say, path, or the roadway is not possible, wherein roadway is not possible, so airlifting can be done, and this is what heavy airlifting will be done. And this Boeing, from the Boeing company we have purchased this, and Boeing company is of what? US. It is of US. So from the foreign military sales program, what is important is foreign military sales program of US. And in regards to India, I did mention day before yesterday, that is Defense Acquisition Council from India, and from US it is the foreign military sales program. So this is very important. I did say this last 2 days back. Defense Acquisition Council will Will approve what is being put forward by the defense ministry, will approve the defense ministry's approval. So defense acquisition council is very important. Ashwin Kumar says, sir, in 1992 deployed at. If we are talking about 1999, is it during the Kargil War? Kargil War. So definitely Kargil War 1999. If you are talking about, that is what we were really required about the attack helicopters Apache. After that we have purchased. After that we have gone for a deal. After that we have gone for a deal. After what? Kargil attack. Ashwini Kumar, Kargil attack, we did not. If in fact, if we had this Apache, then we would have gone ahead with closing it very soon. Closing it very soon. After that, the government of India or the military or the defense have understood that or Air Force have understood that we need to go ahead with the fighter jets, or what do you say, Apache like helicopters, attack helicopters. That is what later on we have gone ahead with the deal. 1999 Kargil. Lokesh Chandra says, who attacked on whom? I can't understand. Please tell me. Did I say anything of attack here? Lokesh, I didn't mention about any attack, Lokesh. It is used. I said it is used. It is used whenever there is any kind of situation. And now when there is, what do you say, standoff, or the situation at LAC, that is line of actual control between India and China, that is why we have deployed. We haven't used it. We haven't used it, Lokesh. Do not get confused. I did not say we used it. I said deployed. Deployed in the sense we have stationed it. We have kept it there. We have kept it. We haven't used. We have deployed it. Where? At Leh Air Base, which is part of Ladakh Union Territory. Union Territory. I think Lokesh, you have understood. Please respond, because I need to know whether you have understood or not. And this is for the better understanding. I have gone ahead with this. So this is Chinook and this is Apache. And this deal is how much? This deal is 3 billion US dollars deal. 3 billion US dollars deal this is. And then you have the another news, which is the first phase of disengagement completed. So definitely, or could not see the last line of the PDF. Okay, last line is what I could see it, but okay, fine. Last line is what? This is last line is okay. I'll read it for you. AH-64 Apache helicopter for both the US Army and international customers. So it's a, you have the joint venture, Boeing joint venture, which is in Hyderabad, called as Tata Boeing Aerospace Limited. So this again you can take it for Flame's point of view, wherein the joint venture between India and US, between India and US, that is in regards to the Boeing and Tata, Boeing and Tata, both together you have a joint venture, that is called as Tata Boeing Aerospace Limited. Okay, Lokesh also has said okay. Thank you, Lokesh. Thank you. And then the first phase of disengagement has completed. So we have looked at right from May 5th, 2020, and then we have seen on June 5th. I'll tell you what all happened here. June 6th, June 15 and 16, and then now again, what do you say? July, we have seen now 10th. So May 15th, May 5th was the one wherein the People's Liberation Army have entered, or they have gone ahead with having the troops, Chinese troops, in the along the LAC, and they have crossed the LAC, and then they have come into the Indian territory on May 5th. The first time it was May 5th, and then on June 5th we had the diplomatic engagement, that is diplomatic level talks have taken place between India and China in regards to moving away the troops. And on June 6th we have the military engagement level talks, diplomatic engagement level talks, military engagement level talks. And June 15 and 16 we have seen 20 Indian soldiers have been martyred. And then July 20, now the first phase of disengagement, that means Chinese and Indian troops. Indian troops are totally moved away. They have moved away. Disengagement in the sense they are moving away along the LAC. Along the LAC. So what is important is this one, that is both India and China have gone ahead with the first phase of disengagement is being completed, and on July 10th, that is timely and complete of the disengagement, that is moving away of the troops from the LAC between India and China. And then we have fully moved, that is the Chinese troops have fully moved, they have moved away from finger 4 to finger 5. That is, as I have said, you have finger 1 to 8. I will show you the map, don't worry about it. Finger 1 to 8, fine. And then Chinese troops have moved away from finger 4. This is very important because the Chinese troops have come up with erecting, or they have gone ahead with erecting the tents, and their troops were stationed. Tents and their troops were stationed at finger 4, and that is why the Chinese troops at finger 4 were not allowing the Indian troops to move from finger 4 to finger 8. I will show you all that. And then this is along the Pyeonggong-so Lake. And then Chinese troops have also removed the tents at finger 4. So what is important is finger 4 is very important because finger 4 is the one which is the conflict zone between India and China along the Pyeonggong-so Lake. Along the Pyeonggong-so Lake. I will show you so. So this is finger 1, finger 2, finger 3, finger 4, finger 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you mean by finger? As I have said, all these are mountains. All the fingers are a big mountains, but at the, what do you say, near the, or else at the mouth of the Pyeonggong Lake. So this is Pyeonggong-so Lake. So it is at the Pyeonggong-so Lake. This one is Pyeonggong-so Lake. So at the mouth of the Pyeonggong-so Lake, this is a kind of, what do you say, finger. So it is pointing towards the lake. That is why it is called as the fingers. It is pointed like this. That is why it is called as the fingers. Please do understand. It is not that someone is standing there and they are pointing the fingers. No. The mountain itself, geographically, mountain itself, troops. Okay. Lokesh says troops means soldiers. Troops means soldiers. Lokesh, troops means soldiers, our Indian soldiers and Chinese soldiers also, PLA, People's Liberation Army, or from India or China, both the sides troops means the soldiers. And these are the fingers. And India, as I said earlier also, I am repeating once again for the benefit of others, India has the control from finger 1 to finger 4, and it patrols from finger 4 to finger 8. This is what I've told you last time also, but I'm repeating once again. And China has control up to finger 8, up to finger 8 here, and they patrol in the sense they go ahead with the having their surveillance in the sense they go ahead with the checking or the patrolling, or they go ahead with the having their surveillance. So what they have done is Chinese have come up till finger 4, from finger 8 control till finger 4 they have come up, and they have put tents here. So that is why the finger 4 at Pyeonggong Lake is the conflict area, conflict zone or conflict area. And now as per first phase, the Chinese troops have removed the tents, and there they have moved back their troops, that is the soldiers. Chinese People's Liberation Army had moved from finger 4 to finger 5, but they should move away from finger 5 to finger 8. That is what is important. But at the first phase they are moved. This is very important. From finger 4 to finger 7 they have removed the tents and then moved away. So this is very important, and this I am shown you for the your better understanding. For your better understanding, I have shown you this picture, fingers at the Pyeonggong-so Lake. And then as we have said, the first phase also have now fully complete. That is, I have said yesterday, PP14, PP5, that is PP is patrolling point. PP means patrolling point. So you have few points along the LAC, along the LAC. So 14, 15 and 17A were also the conflict zones, and this conflict zone, the Indian troops and Chinese troops have moved back. First it was Chinese troops who have moved back, and then later on Indian troops have moved away from it. And this is the third round of, as I said, diplomatic engagement level talks, military engagement level talks, and then part of this is, what do you say, major level talks, and then commander level talks. Fine. And then I've said the third one is the special representatives between Ajit Doval and Wang Yi of China, foreign minister. Ajit Doval is national security advisor. Wang Yi is the foreign minister of China. So the diplomatic engagement level talks, military engagement level talks, and then the special representative level talks. So these are the different diplomatic talks which are going on. And the third round of, what do you say, commander level talks, part of the military level talks, that is at the major level talks and the commander level talks have been taken up, and they are trying to resolve the issue, and they are also going ahead with, this is very important key phrase. So both the countries are going ahead with having a meeting based on working mechanism for consultation and coordination. This is very important. Working mechanism for consultation and coordination. Working mechanism for consultation and coordination between India and China in regards to what? Border affairs or border issue. This is very important. Why I am saying this is very important is, I will tell you. Because India and China, had four agreements in regards to the border disputes. India and China had four agreements in regards to the border disputes. So first agreement is in the year 1993. I will again explain you later on. Disengagement means, okay, Lokesh has also asked disengagement. Disengagement means you are moving away. You have something called as engagement. Engage means you are, what do you say, having kind of, your, I mean, troops are definitely at eyeball to eyeball. I said eyeball to eyeball. So this is moving away, disengagement. So you are not, what do you say, eyeball to eyeball, you are not close. Soldiers are, I mean, troops are not closely away, together, so that if you are very close, there will be definitely, what do you say, emotions will move ahead, and that emotions will again trigger for the attacks between Indian troops and Chinese troops. That is why disengagement is moving away. Lokesh, I think you got it. Disengagement. Bharat Kalyan has also joined on Galwan Valley. Okay, you are talking about this Galwan Valley, and again in regards to the Pyangong So Lake, Finger 4. That is what I have said. That is in regards to the earlier class. Bharat Kalyan, very good morning to you. I think you joined for the first time in the live chat. Very good morning to you, Bharat. And in regards to the disengagement, Bharat Kalyan is saying, what is the intention of China, sir, for creating the base? Okay, fine. I'll explain you. So first, the disengagement has taken place at the Galwan Valley, and later on had the hot spring areas. That is in regards to the PP 15, PP 14, and yesterday PP 17, and all this, what do you say, at the hot spring areas, and then at the Pyongyang So Lake, Finger 4. So this is a disengagement at different times or different levels. And Bharat Kalyan says, what is the intention of China, sir, for creating the base? Yes. So if you look at this, I mean, the line of actual control. See, this is the line of actual control, the red one is the line of actual control. Fine. What is China doing is, every time, if you look at again, okay, first I will talk about these four agreements and I will come to you, Bharat. So the first agreement, four agreements, 1993, second one 1996, third one 2011, and the fourth one 2012, 2013. So the fourth one is in regards to the working mechanism for consultation and coordination. So these four agreements I will take up once again, and the four agreements are in regards to the India-China border affairs. India-China border affairs. So 1993, 1996, 2011, 2012, and 2015, 2015, 13 also. 2012, 13 and 15 also. So these are very important four agreements between India and China, border issues, border issues. And Galwan Valley, yes, Ashwini says China is trying to occupy our land and now taking back steps from our land. Right, sir, absolutely right. That is what I'm seeing. Subbarao, very good morning to you, Singhu Subbarao. Tell me what the importance for this valley. Okay, okay, I will also tell you, Subbarao. I will also mention. First, I will look at what Ashwini has said. Why they have, I mean, Bharat has said why they are creating this basis. So definitely, what is happening is along this LAC. If you look at 1962, we had a war between India and China war, and then again 1974. Fine. 2013, 2014, 2017, 2020. Fine. So 1962 they have entered, and then again 1974 in the 1962, 1974 here in the Arunachal Pradesh, in the Brahmaputra plains. In the Brahmaputra plains they have entered, and they have, what do you say, in 1962 we almost lost the war. 1974, as I said yesterday, 4 Assam rifles were killed, and then 2013 in Depsang plains. Depsang plains, the Chinese have intruded, and then 2014 in the Chumur, you have the plain, and then 2017 in the Chumbi Valley, that is the Doklam Plateau. Fine. 2020 Galwan Valley. So this question will give you both the sides. Lokesh, are you not listening to me? Disengagement, I've told you, I've told you here, disengagement means moving away. Moving away. Disengage, you are not engaging, you are moving away. Disengagement. Disengagement means moving away. I have explained, Lokesh. Moving away. Not trying to have eye to eye contact, but moving away. And then in regards to this, so definitely the what is the importance, strategic. So as Subara was asking, so it is strategic importance. So this strategic importance, China is trying to get into the Galwan Valley and also the Chumbi Valley. Chumbi Valley, when? That is in 2017 Doklam issue, which is between India, China and Bhutan. This Chumbi Valley is between India, China and Bhutan. And then Galwan Valley you have, and another one which is very strategically important is Depsang Plains. Depsang Plains. Depsang Plains is here. This point. This point is Depsang Plains. So Depsang Plain is also, these three are very strategically important because from there they can station their base, they can station their army troops, they can station their army, entire arms and ammunition they can station, and they can hit back, what do you say, the Indian troops. And the importance of Galwan Valley here, Galwan Valley, is because China is now worried about the India going ahead with the infrastructure development, that is in regards to the roads and bridges. So India is constructing roads and bridges along the LAC in the Indian territory, So definitely China is worried about, because this, you have one more road. When I'm saying road, it is the I have told you, but again, because Subbarao has asked and then Ashwin Kumar is asking, now again I'm explaining that you have a road which has been built by the Border Roads Organization, called as Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road, which is 255 kilometers. That is from here, almost here, from the Leh, it connects the Shok and then it connects the Daulat Beg. This is Daulat Beg Oldie, this is Shok River, and this is Leh. Almost from Daulat, Darbuk here. Darbuk here, and then it will be connecting here. So it is 255 kilometers, and we have also, and this is very close to Galwan Valley. So once we are having this road, so definitely we can have access to how the Chinese are entering into Indian troops or Indian territory and the Depsang Plains, because Daulat Beg Oldie is what? Daulat Beg Oldie is Daulat Beg Oldie is definitely and strategic importance for India, because Daulat Beg Oldie is the Indian Air Base. Indian Air Base. So that is why it is strategically very important, and that is why China is getting into the point that they are getting into Galwan Valley. Why Galwan Valley? Because of the road, that is Darbuk Shok Daulat Beg Oldie Road, from Darbuk to Daulat Beg Oldie. This point. Fine. So we will have access direct to the Indian Air Base. Fine. And then we will have very close to the line of actual control. That is why they are worried about it. And then Depsang Plains, as I said, it is a plain. Wherein they can have a very clear picture of having their base, stationing their armory, and then all the equipments to fight against or any kind of situation to have a war between India and China. So Ashwin Kumar and Subbarao, I think you have understood why it is strategically important, how China is going ahead with this, focusing on Galwan Valley and then Chumbi Valley and then Depsang Plains. And there is one more news which talks about 1.2 million snake bites. So I have taken this again in regards to the life. This is again in regards to the life, L-I-F-E. So this is again very important for prelims point of view. So there is a news. So please respond, Subbarao and Ashwin and then Bharat. Have you understood? Yes, yes. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'll get into the next news. That is, there is a study which has been conducted by Center for Global Health Research. This is very important key phrase. So you need to understand for prelims point of view, a study has been conducted by whom? By Center for Global Health Research at University of Toronto. That is, Toronto is in Canada, not US, Canada. Fine. With association with Indian and UK partners. So this is very important for prelims point of view. So a study has been conducted by the Center for Global Health Research, which definitely where the study has been conducted at the University of Toronto. University of Toronto is in Canada, with association or in association with India and US. And what is the study all about? Study is all about the snake bite deaths. Study is all about the snake bite. Why are we talking about? So because this is also part of our UPSC syllabus. UPSC syllabus, which is also a part of UPSC syllabus. Bharat Kalyan, very good morning to you, and thank you very much. And UPSC syllabus is very important, as life is UPSC, part of UPSC syllabus, and that study has been conducted. And this, what study says is, 70% of the snake bite deaths occur in low altitude and rural areas. Please do understand, this is very important. You can write it in mains, short notes. You can just add what you say in regards to the, whenever there is an a point which is in regards to the man versus animal. Please do understand, I'm making it very clear. This is very, very important for mains point of view. Whenever there is any topic or any question in regards to the man versus animal conflict, man versus animal conflict, conflict between man versus animal, so there you can mention about the snake bite. That is also what, man versus animal. And this is the study being conducted by the Center for Global Health Research, and they have said that 70 percentage of the 70 percentage of the snake bites take place at low altitude, and in regards to the rural areas. So definitely these are very, very important. So the snake bite happens or occurs at the low altitude. What do you mean by low altitude? That is not at, that is at the plains, only at plains, but not at the mountains level, not on the mountain levels. So it is only at the plains, only at the plains, that is the normal low altitude, and in the rural areas, so as per the report or the study, 70%, and 70 percentage is occurring only in the 8 states in India. What are they? Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. And this, you can take this information in your mains answer. In your mains answer, you can take this information. So snake bite, as per the study conducted by the Center for Global Health Research, it is in regards to the health. So Center for Global Health Research, it has said 70 percentage of the snake bite deaths happens at the low altitude and rural areas in 8 states of India. Out of 28 states, only 8 states constitute 70 percentage of the death cases. That is Bihar, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Rajasthan and Gujarat. So South India is, you are having South India, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, and the rest are in the north or northwestern or North India, northwestern or North India. Fine. And India is recording a staggering of 1.2 million snake bite in last 20 years. That is, if you are looking from 2000 to 2019 in India, the snake bite cases are 1.2 million. 1.2 million deaths, snake bite deaths have taken place. That is, with an average of 58,000 deaths caused by snake bite annually. So if you are looking from 2000 to 2019, it is 1.2 million, and if you are taking an average every year, annually in the sense every year, it is 58,000 death cases. 58,000 death cases are taking place. So this, especially when we are talking about low altitude and rural areas, the other point is mostly it takes place during monsoon period. Monsoon period in the sense that is the rainy season from June to September. And these are all very important that you mention in your mains answer. That is what I am focusing very much, that this is very important as per UPSC syllabus, that is as per life, as per life. This is very important. Shafi Ahmed says, Sir, Telugu explain. I'm extremely sorry. I cannot explain in Telugu, Shafi. Very sorry. But definitely I will try to go a little bit slow. I'll go ahead. And this is very important. Please do understand, this is very important. And if you look at the higher number of annual snake bite is, first is Uttar Pradesh. Annual, every year annual snake bite death cases is, first is Uttar Pradesh, second is Andhra Pradesh, third is Bihar. So this is again very important. Why I am saying this is because it could be asked in the State Public Service Commission. State Public Service Commissions. If anyone is from the Andhra Pradesh or from the, what do you say, Telangana districts, and also Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, North India also, this is very important. Says Ravi Kumar, says Western Ghats. Western Ghats, where did I mention Western Ghats? No. In the low altitude. You have it everywhere. Telugu location. Okay, Lokesh, I will try. So this is very important that the death cases, the first is UP annually. This is annually. Annually in the sense every year. Yearly. Yearly it is Uttar Pradesh, AP, Andhra Pradesh. Yeah, AP in the sense Andhra Pradesh. And in the largest every snake bite. So you had a survey in 2011. This is very important keyword. Please do write it in your notebook. Write it in your notebook that the largest ever survey been published was in the year 2011. And what is this survey called as? Snake bite mortality in India. Snake bite mortality. Mortality in the sense like the kind of death cases, the kind of it is a death cases, snake bite mortality in India. So a survey has been done. So what we are talking about this survey, this is a study conducted by the Center for Global Health Research, but again we are focusing on the survey which has been conducted in India. What is the title of that survey? That is snake bite mortality in India. This is very important for prelims point of view. In India, what is the largest survey which has been taken up is the snake bite mortality in India. And not only this, what is very important is WHO. WHO has also recognized the snake bite as a top priority, neglected as tropical disease. This is very important. This is very important. What is that? The WHO, World Health Organization, has also recognized the snake bite as a top priority, which has been neglected across the world, across the world. And it is saying it is a tropical disease. Please do understand, this is very important for prelims because WHO has recognized snake bite as what? As the tropical disease. As a tropical disease. And how can we save the people? That is by educating the people. How? That is by using rubber boots, that is rubber boots, gloves, mosquito nets, and rechargeable torches. So by using this, we can reduce the risk of snake bites. We can reduce the risk of snake bites. So if you look at this, global is 5.4 millions. But if you look at India, last 20 years, it is 1.2 million snake bites. India is recording the number is 1.2 million and global is 5.4, and then India 2.8, which is world's highest snake bite. And then in regards to the world's death, every year is 1 lakh. World's every year is this. And deaths in India per million death is 45,900. So this is mortality, means like the death cases, or you are affected by snake bite mortality, your what do you say, death cases happening. You have infant mortality rate. Infant in the sense children's. Infant mortality rate. I means infant, M means mortality, R means rate. So you have infant mortality rate in India. Infant means children's. So you have same way you have snake bite mortality in India. That is the death cases. Mortality is death cases. Prakash, I think you understood. Prakash, fine. So infant mortality, that is what I said. Infant is the sense children's. Death means Singu Subbarao says death means dying. You die. Dying. Death means to die. Death rate. That is, they will calculate. Yeah, death rate. Yeah. So definitely I have focused in regards to the, this is in regards to Atmanirbhar Bharat, which is in regards to the welfare schemes, which is part of the welfare schemes, that is self-reliant, fine. And then in regards to the solar power project, again this is in regards to the ecology and environment. This is for the prelims, ecology and environment. Lokesh, if you are having any, what do you say, any urgent work, you can please leave the session. You can also watch it later on. Nothing to worry. Lokesh Chandra. I've told you yesterday that it will take 50 minutes to 1 hour. If you have any urgent work, you can please, what do you say, leave, and then you can watch it later on, the recorded one. And this I've told you again in regards to the uh, current affairs, in regards to the international relations for prelims point of view. All this I put in, all these are, what do you say, current affairs. And in regards to the, this again in regards to the defense, again for prelims point of view, defense, that is in regards to the India and US current affairs, India and US current affairs, that is purchasing of the equipments. And this again in regards to India China, again current affairs, and then geography map based also. And this in regards to the life. So I definitely make sure that today's newspaper covers all for prelims as well as mains examination. So I hope this was an informative, knowledgeable session for you all for in regards to the prelims and mains point of view. And I would say a big thank you and all the best for your exam. And then may you have success. And success will definitely come from your individual efforts. Success will come only from your individual efforts. And then make sure that before you sign off, you like the video, share the video, and also subscribe for AKS IAS Academy. And please do visit even to www.aksias.com, and the telegram link for AKS IAS Academy is t.me/AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge System IAS Academy. And my telegram link is also t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT, wherein any doubts or any queries you can post on my telegram link t.me/Sandeep Bhushan SBT. And then do not forget to visit www.aksias.com, and you can also download the mobile app of AKS IAS Academy, that is Advanced Knowledge Systems IAS Academy, to get more information in regards to the prelims as well as mains examinations. And then see you on Monday, 7:30 a.m. See you on Monday 7:30 am, because my session, that is daily news analysis, will be from Monday to Saturday at 7:30 am, and I would say a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you to all of you. And then make sure that you are sticking to the your schedule, that is your timetable, preparations timetable. Maintain consistency, as I always say, and also maintain your physical health and mental health. Editorial from Monday or Tuesday, Rahul, I'll go ahead. Okay, Ashwin, okay, Kerala is not in snake. Okay, fine, absolutely taken. Ashwin, yeah. Okay, Sheikh Wasim has asked, you told that Hyderabad or Delhi, the Hindu newspaper. You have the Hindu newspaper, which I take up the Hyderabad edition. I didn't get your doubt. Sheikh Wasim, you told that in Hyderabad or Delhi, the Hindu newspaper. Hindu newspaper, Hindu, I take up. Mutyalam Kanakuri says, thank you, sir. Your class explanation is very good and very useful to us. Thank you very much. Which one told the Hindu newspaper? What are you worried about, Sheikh Wasim? Hindu newspaper. It is Hindu newspaper. You are using the same kind of what you say statement or comment once again. It is Hindu newspaper, Hyderabad. Why are you so concerned about it? Please let me know so that I will try to. That is what I am saying. Hindu, Hyderabad edition. Hindu Hyderabad edition. Subarao, for monthly magazine, you can visit www.aks Academy. You can visit for monthly magazines, you can visit www.aks Academy or download the mobile app. Sampath Marupatla. Very good morning to you. And I'm just winding up, and my session starts at what do you say daily from Monday to Saturday. Monday to Saturday, 7:30 am. And I'm making it very clear that Hindu newspaper, that is Hyderabad edition. I don't know how does it make a difference, but it is the Hyderabad edition, and most probably is asking about the regional news. Okay, fine. Thank you. And then see you on Monday. See you on Monday.